Blessed day, sir. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I am Sheena B. Baligod of Grade 12 STEM B of Cauayan City National High School, Maine, and together with my group mates of Engineering Group 2, we'll be presenting our research proposal entitled Electronic Noses, a feasibility study of providing a meat freshness inspection system based on odor sensing in public markets of Cauayan City, Isabela. For today's discussion, we'll be presenting 5 different parts of the research proposal. These are the introduction, the statement of the problem, objectives of the study, the preliminary literature review, both from foreign and local resources, and finally, the methodology. The quality and protection of meat is now a critical concern of the food industry worldwide, as it is related to economic development and public health. So this statement is actually something that a lot of people don't know actually, because although almost everyone are consumers of meat and desire to eat the only fresh and quality meat products for their safety, yet during these times, a lot of people may have experienced buying or consuming swelled meat, which may cause severe health hazards. So to cope with this problem, there are laws in almost every part of the world that prohibit the sale of spoiled meat. In July 2003, Republic Act No. 9296 ordained the Meat Inspection Code of the Philippines to strengthen the country's meat inspection system to assure safety and quality of meat and meat products for human consumption both in the domestic and international markets. Due to its high nutrient substance concentration, meat is highly susceptible to spoilage and contamination. So with that in mind, it is important to determine that fresh meat is a highly perishable commodity and therefore prone to spoilage and must be treated with utmost care for consumer protection. So in connection, the researcher came up with a study that aims to determine an overview of meat inspection for the purpose of preventing and detecting public health threats.
There are many methods used to test the freshness of food, such as visual appearance and also classical olfaction, including normal olfactory and scentometer, which requires trained panels to taste or smell the food samples to ensure the quality or strength of the odor. However, this method is rather subjective because the human sense of smell and taste is different and may be influenced by the weather and experience. Thus, we propose a method for building a simple electronic nose based on commercially available sensors used to sniff in the market and identify spoiled or contaminated meat stocked for sale in a butcher shop. Producers of all meat sold in a public market should be scrutinized to determine where the foul odor comes, either in the meat and the cleanliness of the place.
Food safety is a public health priority and concern because unsafe food poses global health threats, endangering everyone. The following are some research questions to consider. Number 1. How can this method be feasible for all producers and consumers to obtain the cleanliness and safety of meat products? Number 2. What would be the pros and cons of daily inspection of meat products using electronic noses, that is a meat freshness inspection system based on an odor sensing? Number 3. How can this proposed project be both legally and technically feasible as well as economically justified?
Objectives of the study. During recent times, the quality control of food products relies mostly on manual analysis of experts, and an easy and simple method to replace this manual analysis is eagerly desired. Nevertheless, sensory analysis by a panel of experts is costly process since it requires trained people who can work for only relatively short periods of time. The study aims to provide an overview and feasibility analysis of using the existing gas sensors applied to meat quality monitoring in public markets of Cauayan City, Isabela, with emphasis on a particular class of gas sensors, the electrical gas sensors. Particularly, the study has the following sub-objectives. First, to determine the feasibility of using an electronic nose sensor in public markets to inspect the cleanliness and safety of meat products. Second, to identify the pros and cons of daily inspections of meat products using electronic noses, that is a meat freshness inspection system based on odor sensing. And third, to create a descriptions how this proposed project is both legally and technically feasible as well as economically justified.
The Philippine meat industry consists of large meat factories and numerous small-scale hog and cattle farms that do not pass through government facilities for inspection before going to market. Interestingly, small-scale or backyard piggeries with less than 100 hogs contribute to 70% of the total domestic pork supply and 80% of the national aggregate inventory from more than 100 meat processing establishments nationwide. Imported meat, particularly those originating from China, Europe, and the US that are significant trading partners of the Philippines, must also be inspected. According to Colado et al. 2015, the temperature in the Philippines ranged from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, which is well within the temperature danger zone conducive to the growth and multiplication of spoilage and pathogenic microorganisms that cause foodborne illness. Several unhygienic food preparation conditions that were cited in developing countries included poor personal hygiene of food handlers, restricted access to clean facilities, and lack of food storage facilities at the appropriate temperature. Thus, it is necessary to develop a new low-cost, portable, and simplified electronic nose system to assess meat freshness.
A preliminary literature study shows that an electronic nose is a machine that is designed to detect and discriminate among complex odors using a sensor array. The sensing system can be an array of several different sensing elements, or a single device, or a combination of both. Among the various kinds of meat, poultry is the second most consumed in the world after pork, with more than 75 millions of tons per year. If the meat's freshness is known in advance, it is possible to prevent the economic loss of discarding meat, and this will reduce the risk of food poisoning from eating rotten meat. Funozaki have explored the possibility of the gas sensor-based quality control of meat freshness. The sensor response signal increases with increasing meat storage time and reflects rather well the increase of bacteria determined by a conventional colony counting method. Numerous studies have shown that an electronic nose has proven to be very effective for a number of purposes, such as quality control, process monitoring, freshness evaluation, shelf life investigation, and authenticity assessment. The implementation of electrical gas sensors interfaced with wireless is a promising technology in the near future because of the possibility of a rapid and accessible meat quality monitoring. A considerable amount of study has been published to ensure the quality of meat, yet the application of an electronic nose for the inspection of butcher shops and markets remains unexplored. The primary research method for this study is the descriptive method, particularly a feasibility study. It is used to find the viability of proposed undertaking on the establishment. Feasibility studies are used to determine whether an intervention is appropriate for further testing. In other words, they enable researchers to assess whether or not the ideas and findings can be shaped to be relevant and sustainable. 10 participants with educational backgrounds that are related to food science, such as food technologies and engineers, will be given a survey about the pros and cons of daily inspection of meat products using electric noses, and the feasibility of using an electronic nose sensor in public markets to inspect the cleanliness and safety of meat products. To provide the correct feasibility study, the work also includes the location assessment, financial analysis, and social environmental analysis of the said project. That concludes our research proposal presentation. Thank you for listening and have a great day.